Nurses were told today that euthanasia or assisted dying will be legal in this country within a decade. They also heard at the Nurses Organisation annual conference that if it's legalised, they will be at the front line. Our health correspondent Karen Brown was there and filed this report.
Assisted dying is as sensitive a topic among health professionals as it is within the larger community. Conference delegates in Wellington were told it's complex and the Nurses Union neither endorses nor opposes it. But a psychologist and researcher, Pam Oliver, told nurses they're likely to have to deal with it regardless.
I believe that assisted dying will be legal within 10 years in New Zealand, quite possibly earlier. And from an equitable perspective, on behalf of people who are going to seek legal assisted dying, it's critically important that any health practitioner involved in assisted dying, actively or passively, be prepared for that eventuality.
Pam Oliver said other countries' experience with assisted dying shows nurse involvement is inevitable.
What the research shows is that it's nurses who are more involved in the assisted dying request and eligibility process, and indeed in the final event often, than are doctors or other health practitioners.
Pam Oliver also said nurses frequently end up administering it instead of doctors in places where assisted dying is legal, notably the Netherlands and Belgium.
Quite often that happens because even though the doctor is supposed to be present for that, if it's a euthanasia or an IV line administration, in fact the doctor may be called away and the nurses are left with the opportunity, with the privilege and with the responsibility.
She added that ACT leader David Seymour's end-of-life choice bill, which awaits a first reading, is good in many respects but lacks detail about the role of nurses, and this should be fixed. The bill would give terminally ill people with 6 months to live or those with a grievous and irremediable condition the ability to ask a doctor to help end their lives. A nurse who gave her name only as Jenny was worried about coercion.
Is there any situations where people that do have that legal power of attorney are making decisions on behalf of others?
She was reassured that those with a power of attorney would not be able to make those decisions for others. Another delegate, Marilyn, had other concerns.
I've seen many where the people themselves control almost their time of death and the very things that are important to them in the family moments. I just would be very concerned about those being taken away.
Victoria University nursing lecturer Helen Rook conceded she worries about that too. She added she's not convinced a law change is coming, adding good palliative care could rule out any need for assisted dying.
I'm not sure that we need this legislation, is what I would say. With the right resources in place, then we can manage this very well, and we have been doing very well for generations and generations.
A nursing leader, Kerry Nuku, said Māori will want to talk it over.
Whānau engagement, and I mean authentic whānau engagement. It's not about somebody assuming, it's about having a kōrero where the whānau are fully informed.
She added manaakitanga or caring would require that any assisted death be managed like a birth in a culturally appropriate way. Mō te hotaka o te ahi, ko Karen Brown tēnei.